Hello, welcome back to the History of Video Gaming with Ben and Wes, and we have a special story for you guys today. In 1974, computers were very different from what they are today. They were big and bulky and expensive and really hard to operate. In fact, only really institutions like universities and research development centers could afford them, and they wanted the best and fastest chips available. Motorola was one such company making these chips, and they were making a pretty good profit doing it. However, 8 engineers at Motorola had a different vision of the future. They wanted to have a chip that was not only cheap and affordable, but also fast and cutting edge. And Motorola didn't share this design idea. You see, the computers were just too complicated. They were too expensive. No average ordinary person could use them, but the 8 engineers were steadfast. They decided to leave Motorola, travel halfway across the country, and join a relatively unknown company named MOS Technology, short for metal oxide semiconductor. And they built those chips, the ones used for the everyday person, right here in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Those 8 engineers were part of the team of 17 that created the Motorola 6800 microprocessor. Their experiences working on that chip gave them the knowledge that they needed to make a cheaper microprocessor. They knew the best way to reduce chip cost was to reduce its size, making more chips from the same amount of silicon. And luckily, in 1973, advances in chip printing technology meant that they could do just that. They used their experiences on the Motorola 6800 as a roadmap, tweaking and improving as they went to create the MOS Technology 6502, a chip that was both more powerful and cheaper. The power of this chip and its low cost helped Apple sell their computers at a low price, making personal computing much more accessible for the average person. As the market changed to demand cheaper computers, other companies made the switch to the 6502. This chip and its successors went on to power some of the most important computers in both video gaming and computing history. Everything from the Commodore PET to the Commodore 64, the Atari 2600, and even the Nintendo Entertainment System.
In 1975, Motorola introduced their new chips, the 6501 and 6502, at a trade show in San Francisco. When Motorola heard of the success of this chip, they immediately dropped the price of their own chip by half and filed a patent lawsuit against MOS Technology. As a result of the lawsuit, in 1976, MOSTEK agreed to stop the production of the 6501 chip and pay $200,000 to Motorola. This, along with the failing calculator business of MOS Technology, led to them selling the company to Commodore Business Machines in late 1976.
Under the ownership of Commodore, the company, now renamed as the Commodore Semiconductor Group, was the main production arm for chips for Commodore. During this time, many of the original 8 engineers of the 6502 left to pursue other ventures. The company changed hands again in 1994 when it was sold to GMT Microelectronics. GMT reopened the building that we're standing at today and kept it in business until 1999. Unfortunately, the site was designated as a hazardous waste site due to a leak in 1974, and GMT ultimately closed and abandoned the building in 2000. And while the building is empty and unassuming today, the determination of those 8 engineers lives on. The 6502 chips produced in this building went on to power some of the most important computers in gaming history and spurred on the personal computing revolution of the 70s.
If you'd like to learn more about our podcast and about computer and video gaming history, be sure to check out the link in the description. Thank you for watching. We really hope you enjoyed this video.